Welcome to the podcast program, Habit Craft for Your Future, Transforming Thoughts and Actions. Hello, I'm Kazuyoshi Hisano. Thank you for listening to this podcast program, and this program is focused and aimed to think about how to form a great habit. Actually, there are a lot of habit methods in the world, and I know all of them are and have been successful in terms of helping people. And the reason is habits are the critical, important component of our life. And by continuing good habits, your life will be better. And also, if you keep doing something that is not necessarily needed or sometimes even bad, probably you will struggle with your life or with your work. So we all understand, at least from the higher perspective, we know that the habits may be very important. However, we don't know how actually to fix it or implement a better one. So therefore, the habits methods or a book for habits or any lecture seminar for habits or YouTube program for habits are always popular. And I have been thinking about this and working on this, starting from the different direction, and that is not necessarily the habits, but the goal. And I also know that there are a lot of ways to look at the goal or a dream. So I have to be very, very clear about what is the difference between the traditional habits method compared with my goal vision habits method. And I have a lot of respect to what the people have done in the past. And also, I also respect that there have been a lot of improvement, advancement, and transition in terms of paradigm. And that is a huge shift that I will say, coming from the behaviorism to the cognitive model. And I have explained this in the past. If you have not heard it, maybe it's going to be the first time. But I studied a lot about the cognitive science and cognitive psychology, which is the academic field that is trying to understand how our brain works and how we think. And so, therefore, things will start in my model or the models that I have learned from my teacher, who had passed away 12 years ago. But Mr. Lutais, he is my teacher, one of the very greatest teacher. And so we have tried to start thinking from the upper side, which means the brain. And compared to this, focusing on or putting much more effort on the actual work or actual things that we do is like a kind of trying to transform your attitude or behavior. And that is called, that has a name, and that's been called as a behaviorism. So this is not the time to explain everything about the academic thing. And also, I'm not the academic professional researcher, so I'm not the perfectly right person to explain this, despite I'm teaching the cognitive psychology at university, and I have been teaching this for 8 years, so I have a class. But even so, I'm not the researcher, so I'm not gonna pretend that I know everything about the cognitive psychology or science, and just that I know is the parts that I really think that is influential and help us have a better life. So I can only speak from this position. But even so, my position is always a cognitive system approach, and that can be compare it with the behaviorism approach. So I tried to kind of explain what habits are important, and how the goals are influencing that, and which sequence is necessary, and also what are the difference between the cognitive approach and the behaviorism approach. So next 5, 6, 7 minutes, I'm gonna explain about that. And let me start with the traditional one. So there is a improvement technique or the approach. You have whatever approach. Like the name would be various, but if you see somebody who has a not good habit, a bad habit, like when you are eating food, it's not. You should eat silently. I think this is common in most of the cultures. Like when you choose a food, probably most of the culture people would require the food to eat silently without making a lot of noise from your mouth. But the person who is doing that, it could be a kid, does not understand it by himself, because he can't observe himself by himself when he's doing that. So, and the parents may tell him to not eat much more silently and not do that, but he will not it's hard for him to recognize that if he is doing alone. The best way for him to recognize is that look at other people eating in the same manner, like or listen to this sound that the other person is creating, and then he would realize that, oh, this is not good, so I should stop eating in this way, and I should be much more chewing very silently. Those kind of things. I guess this explains. But so when you are in that position, it's not gonna be easy to change the way you behave. So if you approach to the behavior, you will need some technique or skill to acquire a higher levels of abstraction. We use this word, or at least you see things from the higher view. And in this case, this kid, this boy is chewing the food, but he saw somebody else making a noise from his mouth, and then he realizes that, oh, this is not good. So this enables the boy to get out of this original place and see things from the higher perspective. So the behaviorism approach always needed such kind of a technique, and I assume that one of that was to have a visualization or image of the future. So in the approach, the most important focus was on the behavior itself. So people would observe the behavior and look at people and picked up what worked well and increase the time spending on that, or kept doing that. And at the same time, you will see that something that is not working well, then you will reduce or eliminate that and do the much more effective one. So when you're focusing on that area, well, we will need a higher perspective, and the visualization or image of the goal helped you see things differently. So that was a technique, probably a very effective technique to help her perceive her own behavior from different perspective, and probably that enabled this person to transform and build a better habits. And it actually works. It's good. And of course, this may include to have a clear goal or a clear direction. And so all of these may have worked to establish a better view by this person. And eventually that will lead to, that should have led this person to acquire and build the good habits by himself. And that was explanation, maybe a explanation to the approach. But compared to this, now I'm going to step into the cognitive science psychology approach. And as I mentioned frequently, we always start with a goal. So we don't even look at the behavior. We don't look at what you are doing. We just focus on the goal and set the goal, and combine with this, the essential element that you can never forget is to have a sense of reality vividly for the goal world. So goal and sense of reality are always the combination. And without these two, nothing will happen. So if you just set the goal, just that is just a statement. And because you have a reality, and in your mind you start to think that that's gonna really happen, or much better one is that you really feel that that is real. Forget whether that is really happening yet or not. It's not the point. What you do, imagine that you have already achieved or done that goal, is the starting point. So, and after that, in order to do something that is important for you to achieve the goal, this activity or action will be informed by your brain, which means that if you have a goal and the sense of reality, your brain will just provide a nice idea that was not probably known, and you just know that concept, idea that was taught by your brain, and then you'll be able to start taking action on that. And in order to keep you doing that action, we would like to implement the habits that will support you to keep doing the necessary activity to move toward your goal. So the sequence is like this. You set the goal first, and then you will increase the sense of reality. And if you combine these two together, then your brain will let you know what is the idea or option that you can do. Of course, you will need to pick up one of them or two of them, and you'll start taking action, and then you will get close to the goal. However, of course, it's not only one time action will not help you achieve it. So you will need to keep doing that. So in order to help you keep doing the necessary action, we will implement the habit system, and you will intentionally, carefully form the habits that will help you continue that activity. That is the cognitive science psychology approach. So the point is this. So you could see the difference between these two, like the similarity with these two. You eventually work on the habits. You eventually achieve the goal. And in between, you may use the visualization or affirmation skill. However, the large difference is here that if you are, this is my assumption, but if you are in the behaviorism approach, the affirmation or visualization will be the important and powerful technique or skill to help you make change in your behavior and eventually in your life. So they are skills and techniques. However, compared to this, the cognitive approach, which is what I'm calling goal vision system, is that you start with a goal, and the sense of reality, like affirmation, visualization, are the essential necessities that you can never forget. So this is in the basic premise, assumption, including the assumption. So that is different, and won't have time today, but I'm going to introduce some success notebook that I'm planning to kind of publish. And in that, we will include the sense of reality, like affirmation or visualization, or sometimes your self-image, those kind of things will be the very important bridge for you that lies between the goal and the habits. So it's not simple that you set the goal and create a better habit. You will need to set the goal and visualize and imagine about your self-image, and then you form habits to help you become a person like that. That eventually leads you to become a kind of person who can achieve the goal. Right? Habits are always something that support you to become a person that you want. Right, I know I spoke a lot, and I think this was a little bit difficult or complicated for those who have heard this for the first time. But if you are a long-time learner, I believe that I've touched deeper part of the discussion, and also I have clarified the difference by the academic position, and I think you will like it. And if you want to understand, I will encourage you to listen to this 3 times, and probably you will have a better understanding about this. But thank you for listening to this. I really have always appreciate your being here, and look forward to speaking with you again. So if you have any comment, you could put that on the from the podcast page, and also please put maybe like button, so that you will not miss the program again and next week. Alright, that's it for today, and thank you so much. It was Kazuyoshi-san. Bye bye.